This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
All right, good morning. Hope you're having a great one here today. We're still getting everything all set up here on our weather desk. While that's happening we have a First Alert Weather Day still in effect for the next few hours, maybe next 2 hours or so, mainly for that first line, moving across Natchitoches currently right now with some heavy rain on top of Natchitoches. That line is continuing to move up into Ruston and over towards El Dorado, which is outside of the Arklatex, but we're still bringing in a little bit of light rain into eastern Texas and the areas in between Nacogdoches and Natchitoches for the morning. So you got Natchitoches is pretty much the last town that has yet to experience kind of the first big first big punch from that first initial line of storms that came on through the Arklatex through the early morning and overnight hours for today. So yes, we're going to be watching out for that. Again, today is the First Alert Weather Day, but honestly, it's only a First Alert Weather Day. For the most part, only for the next, I'd probably say 2 hours or so. Just waiting for that line to get through Natchitoches, and then I think we'll be through the all clear once that happens. I think you get the picture. It's the tail end of everything moving on forward. And I have CJ Cartledge with me here as well to talk all about it too. Hello, and welcome to First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. I got with me CJ Cartledge on the other side as well. We broke in this desk about a week and a day ago as well. That was a lot of fun. So yes, we got that in for the day today. I'm actually going to turn myself up a little bit. I've learned that every single time. I think this is episode number 7, I think, on the podcast. I got to turn myself up every single time on this stream. Yeah. And then I do it during the stream, and then I feel bad for people because they already probably turned up the volume. Yeah. And then they got to turn it right back down. But I mean, somebody said that on one of my first streams, like, you guys are speaking too slow, not loud enough. I'm like, okay, I'll put it behind the scenes. We're figuring things out.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, man, especially with the new setup and brand new mics. We did not have this before. We had to attach everything to our ties here last time. We were standing up the whole time during the show. So, yeah, something to get used to for sure.
Yeah, we're still working on the cameras, too. I also just fixed your camera angle just a little bit.
I did see that. I saw it move a little bit.
Just a little nudge. Just a little nudge.
Yeah, I hope you guys can see me.
See, we work out some of the things here live on air for you guys around this show. So, yeah, we're still working some things out, but lots to go over. I know we're at the tail end of a First Alert Weather Day, but we're going over your TikTok today, CJ. We'll get to that in the rundown here in just a moment. We're also going over the tropics, which has been kind of underlooked a lot because there's a system going into the Gulf of Mexico.
Right. And
wild.
With the track that I saw yesterday, I haven't gotten a chance to look at the track today, but it was heading towards Louisiana, actually. And it seems to be pretty far out as of right now. It doesn't... I'm not banking on it hitting Louisiana, but the track could change. The cone of uncertainty is pretty wide as of right now, so a lot to look forward to and to track through the rest of this week and into this weekend.
Hey, CJ, you want to know one other thing that I just realized here on the stream?
Yeah, what's up?
Your mic was off until you started speaking that last time.
Oh, my goodness.
It was the first 2 minutes. It was fine. Nobody complained about it on our YouTube. That's the only way people can talk to us. If you want to talk to us, again, YouTube. We're live on KSLA News 12, our YouTube page. This is where we're live. You can literally chat with us live on this podcast and let us know some things, some critiques like, Evan, you stink. Why didn't you turn on CJ's mic? He's speaking to himself over there on the right half of the screen.
That is crazy. Once again, it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. It's just like you have to click all these things. You got to unmute people. You got to change it to radar, change it to us, change it back to... It's just a whole new environment, whole new setting. Again, this is only day 7 of us doing this. You forget one button, all goes haywire. Last week, we couldn't figure out the Facebook stream. We finally did figure that out now. But I think for today, I know everybody's focused on the election. Big election day.
Yes.
I'm kind of just glad we're getting all of that. We've mostly gotten rid of all of our severe weather threat before Election Day coverage so that the two aren't mixing with one another.
Oh, man, that would be
That'd be
a
hectic.
disaster. That would be a disaster for sure. We're switching between severe weather and then what's going on with the election. It's just craziness for the beginning of this week.
Good thing we got severe weather done with first. All right, let's look at the rundown here for today. We have our first alert weather day coverage with our first alert weather day forecast. Again, that lasts for the next 2 hours or so, and then we'll start to fully dry up into this afternoon. That'll be much appreciated. Some sunshine. That's a rare commodity, actually, around here these days. And we also have TikTok Tuesday with CJ, who... I'm not gonna spoil what it's about. You can preview it, CJ, a little bit later on before it airs, CJ.
I got you.
I promise you.
I got you. I'll keep the secret for now. We about maybe 10 minutes. I'll tell you guys. You gotta stay tuned though.
Hey,
Go
all
through
right.
the forecast first.
So I just realized you still have no way to look at the graphics. So first
It's
of all,
okay.
let me pull up the graphics back again. For those of you who don't know, I'm the only one that can see the graphics on our screen in front of me. That's how I'm obviously controlling all the podcast graphics, the scenes behind. My words are all over the place. That's how I'm controlling everything moving around. Obviously, the parts, the screens, everything. Me controlling going back to the radar, that kind of thing. Obviously, CJ, I'm sorry you can't see anything yet. You're kind of
okay.
just staring at me for now, for the moment. But
It's all good.
I was gonna say that's just one of the things that we're gonna try to probably renovate around here with the setup as well. So. We'll work on it. As I said, it's a work in progress here at the new physical space on the podcast, but it's still pretty cool. I love these mics. I love them
too.
well. All right, so that was our rundown here for now. Let's go over the local forecast now. I'm gonna start pulling up my graphics. Just to recap quickly from yesterday, CJ, with this system moving on forward, I believe we had a tornado warning or two move on through, right?
I believe we had a total of maybe 4 or 5. That was yesterday afternoon. It started at around the end of the 4 o'clock show. Meteorologist Austin Evans was talking about 3 that were heading from Red River County into McCurtain County. And I believe I was talking about before the show that maybe one of them was confirmed near Idabel that ran into Broken Bow.
Yes.
Strong tornado signatures, by the way, as it was moving through the area. But tornado damage was observed. And as of a total, maybe around 5 tornado warnings were in effect, maybe even 6, spanning from around 4:45 to about the middle of the 6 o'clock show, around 6:15 or so. That's when the 6 o'clock show had resumed, and we went through the rest of the regularly scheduled program.
Yeah. And all of them were also yesterday afternoon.
Right.
None of them were overnight tonight. The most of the worries we had overnight tonight was flash flood warnings.
The heavy rain that went through.
Mm-hmm.
So through the night, definitely, there was a lot of rain that came through. Some areas saw 4 inches of rain. I believe it was over in East Texas. I can't remember the exact city that it was that received around 4 inches. I believe it was near Longview, Texas. But you were saying that some areas received 6 inches of rain before the show, didn't you, Evan?
Yes, in eastern Texas, which is very impressive. I'm bringing up a graphic now. One very unlooked thing that I didn't even have time to discuss on this morning show with all the first alert, weather day, rain happening this morning. This is exclusive to the podcast for those of you watching the podcast. Big news from yesterday as well that went pretty much unlooked at all was the temperatures. Yesterday's high temperature in Shreveport ended up being 89 degrees. 89, which breaks, as you see, if you look at the shade of yellow there on your screen with all the towns, the shade of yellow is all the record highs. So DeQueen also broke a record high with 84 degrees yesterday. The observed temperatures yesterday are in the white. The record high temperatures are in the yellow. So Shreveport and DeQueen both broke the record highs. But not only did Shreveport break the record high yesterday, they broke their all-time temperature record for November.
I did hear about that.
All-time temperature record for November, 89 degrees. That is the new highest temperature ever recorded in Shreveport for all of November throughout all of history. Wild.
All of November, guys. This is no exaggeration. That is definitely some warm conditions around the region just before the front moved through, mainly because of southerly flow that continued through the region throughout this past weekend and throughout much of last week here. And that's also what brought the instability and most of these scattered rain showers that we've been seeing through the past few days as well.
Yeah, absolutely wild. That went unlooked. As I said, I didn't have time to talk about that this morning. So much discussing, I guess, around the actual, temperatures and tropics as well, besides the rain, moving on forward. But future track, let's get into the future track. So you see how things look so much better around 1:30. In just a matter of 3 hours, we have a stray shower or two left in the Arklatex. The main line has left Natchitoches. So that's what we're kind of expecting, just that first alert weather day to honestly quickly go away, probably in the next 2 hours or so. It just, the last hour or two of rain showers you got to deal with, and then we're smooth sailing for the rest of the day. I spoke about it this morning as I hate for you to do your voting for Election Day last minute, but it's actually better. It's actually better. You could probably do it right now with just the light rain lingering around, but if you want to look for probably the best conditions, that's probably going to be for the afternoon, especially once the sun starts coming back out. And if you notice tonight, we still could have a stray few showers here late tonight, carrying us all the way into Tuesday night, even into Wednesday. Wednesday morning, you look around Natchitoches, some stray showers potentially there for tomorrow morning before the majority of the region hangs around with mostly dry conditions on for your Thursday. But overall, the cloud cover remains, and we still have a stray few showers actually possible heading into Thursday. So my question, I feel like the viewers will be asking, well, Evan, when is the dry sunshine fully coming back? Well, we don't know. We don't know. The whole issue with this is, let's look at our upper-level pattern here around the region. We have a low-pressure system that's, first of all, fueled our storms here for the day today. And in order for us to fully dry things out, we need a high pressure behind this low-pressure system. But guess what? That low-pressure system is not moving. It's kind of meandering a little bit off to the west here for the end of the work week before kind of returning back here into the weekend. So guess what that means? We have rain continuing on for the rest of the week. Now, let me first of all stress this. We don't have anything severe weather-wise headed back to the Arklatex, at least until the next scattered round of showers comes back into the Arklatex, which is in the 7-day forecast coming this weekend. But at least for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a few showers are possible still every single day. And that's all because the low-pressure system stays in place. You don't have a high pressure coming in, still have clouds around, still have rain around. I'm also tracking that on this future track, I know, which CJ can't see, and I know you're just nodding your head being like, yeah, okay, Evan, sure, whatever you say. But you see into the future track heading into Thursday, clouds still hang around the Arklatex, and we'll have mainly scattered showers way out to our west into the central part of Texas that start to move around, and finally, that scattered bunch of showers moves into the Arklatex pretty much first thing on Saturday, maybe even late on the Friday as well, and it's going to be looking like a rainy day on Saturday. So if you have any weekend plans that you're already trying to plan up, I'd say plan for Sunday, which is when that system heads out of here. It heads out of here pretty much Saturday night, and you're looking for a better day Sunday compared to Saturday. So overall, even throughout the 12-day forecast, I will say, things are looking quite rainy also into next week with another round of scattered showers coming. It just seems like it's one after the other. Rain systems keep on coming in. So yeah, after a very incredibly dry October, we've completely flipped the pattern and flipped the script around here, so to speak. All right, so real quick, going back on to Election Day, which is today, not tomorrow. I don't know why it says tomorrow. For the rest of the afternoon, just a 10% chance of a stray shower in for the rest of today. Besides that, we might even be picking out some sunshine in for the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies by the time we get into tonight. Notice the temperatures, though. Not reaching 70 degrees. What are your thoughts on that, CJ? I'd go and say that.
Wow, the updates over this past weekend, a couple days ago, said we may hit the 70s, but now we're down into the 60s?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's a chance, especially because the warmest part of the day was early this morning, actually, before the cold front came on through. We had temperatures in the mid-70s across northwest Louisiana waking up. But then one of the cool things, I actually posted this on my social media, you could see the instant change of temperature coming across East Texas earlier this morning, where we had 75 in Mansfield, for example, but we had like 62 in center.
Oh my gosh.
Like a 10, 15 degree temperature drop literally immediately behind the front. It wasn't just a gradual change at all. So kind of wild.
Yeah, definitely kind of wild. It's cool to see the temperatures dropping drastically as the front moves through as well. They're seeing the different colors on the screen. But definitely glad that these cooler conditions are back into the region. We can definitely feel some more comfortable weather before that humidity slightly rises as we move through the rest of this work week coming up.
We're looking at some more fall-like weather finally coming back in. So here are highs for today. Upper 60s, again, across the majority of the region. I have 76 for Natchitoches, 77 in Ruston. That's mainly just because it's pretty much already warmed up to 76 and 77 around there currently. They'll expect to cool down into this afternoon as well. So, yeah, pretty impressive around those areas. All right, before we get into the 7-day forecast, first alert, eye on the tropics. This is a look at Tropical Storm Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing that it, first of all, has formed in November. It is a strong tropical storm. I'm not sure if you saw the latest update. 60-mile-an-hour winds
Okay.
in the Western
end.
Caribbean.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. It's on the higher end now. It's pretty much a big change from what we saw yesterday. I believe before the 10 o'clock update, it was still a tropical depression. Then it increased to a tropical storm, a low end. Now it's making its way through those warm, still very warm Caribbean Sea waters, sea surface temperatures right now, or sea surfaces right now.
And as you saw via the track there, moving on forward, it's most likely going to become a Cat 1 hurricane, and it's kind of going to stay stagnant, I'd probably say, around that mark, mainly because it's fighting some unfavorable conditions in the Gulf. In fact, it actually becomes a tropical storm by the time we get into the weekend, Saturday into Sunday. But that's the same period of time where it could make landfall anywhere around Louisiana. That's why we're staying first alert about this, especially after Election Day. We'll get all the Election Day stuff done, especially with the news. It's pretty much Super Bowl party, or I wouldn't say Super Bowl party, but it's Super Bowl type major event for the news industry, obviously, around here at KSLA News 12. Once the hype from that kind of dies down a little bit, we'll be talking about this pretty much for the rest of the week, especially after our KSLA First Alert Weather Day. This is expected to hit us this weekend. Saturday or Sunday, somewhere around Louisiana. So we'll stay first alert about it in the meantime. As for now, 7-day forecast here for you. Again, 90% chance of showers. That's just in for the next hour or two before it completely dries out by this afternoon. We get 20% rain chances in Wednesday through Friday, just indicating a few storms each and every day, but overall most of the Arklatex should stay dry here for the most part for the second half of the work week. Highs up into the mid to upper 70s, though, so it does warm up just a little bit, but at least not a single high mark even reaching 80 degrees. That's impressive. Highs even drop back down to 71 briefly on Saturday because that's when our second cold front is hitting. And again, there's another cold front coming in the middle of next week, too. But at least for Veterans Day, which is the next holiday on Monday, that appears to be dry here for the moment on next Monday. Man, we went over a lot, and I know this forecast usually goes about like 10 minutes. This went like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. This
So,
is a lot to talk about here.
A lot to talk about. And it's not just the KSLA First Alert Weather Day. Again, it's rain continuing around here. It's the cooler temperatures back in, which I know we haven't even mentioned too much of because we've been focused all on severe weather.
Right.
And then it's tropics, which, again, all three of those things I barely have even time to talk about during the shows. I guess I'm just so excited to talk about them here because I'm finally able to talk about them.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Coming up after this break, we have a look at CJ's TikTok. We'll share a little preview after this break before, obviously, watching it. You stay tuned. You don't want to miss CJ's recent TikTok. It's pretty cool. It's something I definitely look forward to. Just to put that out there. All right. We'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll see you. And CJ, we'll see you after this. All right, welcome back to First Alert Weather Breakdown Podcast. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas and wiping my eye. It's been a busy day here for me. First Alert Weather Day. Just so you know, we made a post, or not me and CJ, but me and Matt made a post of us high-fiving. We'll get to that actually in just a little bit. I'm going to save that story actually for the last thing. Let me not steal CJ's spotlight. This is CJ's spotlight block, so to speak. No, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine for the week. All right, so what you got for TikTok Tuesday here today?
So for TikTok Tuesday, I did make a TikTok about the leaves potentially changing, or they will change as we get cooler weather here in the Arklatex. As you may know, the cold front moved through, bringing much cooler air into the Arklatex, where highs are in the 60s for most of us. Some of us still in the lower 70s. So as we move towards the middle of November, we can start to see those leaves changing and falling off of their respective trees, presenting us with a beautiful scenery around the region here. So that's definitely something to look forward to, especially if you're going to be outside. We haven't seen much of a change just yet, but with this TikTok, I'm going to be describing what to expect through the rest of the next week to 2 weeks, and what to expect around the region as well, around the country.
Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and hear from the man himself from this weekend. I believe you shot this?
Yeah, I did it on Sunday.
All right. I'll see you after this. We'll see you after this. All right. Good stuff, CJ.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Sorry, both of us are laughing because I don't know if you guys at home saw this. I'll even check YouTube. YouTube's not saying anything about the volume, but I don't think there was any volume coming out of that. I don't know why. I'm going to be honest. I did the same things we normally do for our volume settings on our other computer at the other physical setting, which is actually way behind me. That's why I'm pointing that way. But, yeah, I don't know why the volume wasn't on there, but the reason I left it on, I was telling CJ, you left closed captioning on there at least. So you can at least follow
Exactly.
if you're on mute. There you go. Beautiful job, CJ.
And that is exactly why I love to do that. Is if you have noticed through the past TikToks that I've done, I have done closed captioning. I'm trying to change up the fonts a little bit just to experiment with a few things. But yeah, that's exactly why I do that, just in case if you're in a spot where you can't turn the volume up all the way, you know, you could just read exactly what I have to say. And yeah, that's just why I do that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We could see peak color for the leaves on the trees and watch them fall off of these trees as we move towards the middle to end of November here, at least for the Arklatex. And for areas just to south of the Arklatex, maybe southern Louisiana and southern states, so like Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, all the way down to Florida, they can see it a little bit later. The tips of Florida, like the very edge of Florida near Miami, may not even see peak color at all, depending on because of how far they are or how close they are to the lower latitudes in the world, basically. So we're expecting to see peak color pretty soon here, so make sure to get outside and enjoy it, just like I said in the video.
That'll be great, especially I think when some consistent cooler temperatures come along, which we finally have in the forecast.
Right.
Which is, I think, going to help affirm your folly. Why am I forgetting the word? Foliage.
Fall foliage. Yes.
Foliage. Thank you. Okay. I don't know why I forgot that word. Anyways, it'll be great once we have some consistent cooler temperatures around here, which again we have in that extended forecast, especially with all these rain events coming in, it's going to help keep it cool, especially since they're cold fronts rolling on through as well. And I think it's going to be rare around here that we have a single high temperature above 80 degrees, honestly, for the rest of November and maybe for a while.
Hoping and praying for it because I'm ready.
I'm ready for fall, too.
Season. I'm ready for the fall.
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready to put my sweatshirts on and walk into work with my sweatshirt on. You know, I got some fire sweatshirts. So, yeah, I'm definitely ready for a sweatshirt season.
Got to dust it off.
Similar to what we're experiencing now, but not too cool just yet. We're still in the 70s, 60s, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. All right, pretty cool. All right, coming back, we'll wrap this up one more time. You stick with us. I got a story from this morning that I thought I was going to preview earlier. I don't remember.
We'll think about it on the break.
We'll think about it on the break. We'll think about what we're going to say after this. 2-minute game break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. KSLA News 12. All right, two things to talk about. Number one, I realized what I was trying to talk on that happened earlier today. For the first time since I've been here, I first got back here, or I first started work here with KSLA News 12 back in June, early June. For the first time since I've been here, I get to see Matt early in the morning on my shift. We get to high-five each other. Matt stayed late. I got here way earlier than early. We got here. We basically high-fived each other. Matt was on the way out. I was on the way in at 12:30 this morning. That photo is on Facebook as well. I was just going to say, pretty cool. Pretty cool to have that, I don't know, experience, so to speak. That's just how you know we had coverage throughout the night on the KSLA News 12, just in case, because we knew the peak of this was going to be mainly through the overnight hours. And even though we didn't have too many warnings around the overnight hours, we had, I believe, 2 flash flood warnings happen in the overnight hours. Most of the tornado warnings CJ was describing happened yesterday afternoon. We still had tons of rain. Don't get me wrong. The rain totals from East Texas are totaling up to around 5 to 6 inches in some localized areas, which definitely provided numerous amounts of street flooding in some areas. The system definitely did a little bit of a punch to us, I guess, so to speak. Also, there were some photos that came in from Idabel, Oklahoma, which confirmed the confirmed the Idabel, Oklahoma tornado that you were on the air about yesterday too. So, if you want to see those, that'll be on our noon. I believe that will be on our noon newscast as well, coming up in just about an hour on this stream, KSLA News 12, as well. So, last thing I want to discuss before we wrap things up on this episode and look forward to tomorrow was CJ. We were during the last break. We were recapping the things, being like, Oh, I didn't. You were like, you ran a realization. You were on cam while we were still going over the graphics. Look, let me just say, I put you on camera still because, you know, if you're speaking, which you were still speaking some things about the forecast, then that's why I'd still have you on. You're not just, you know, the ghost in the void that our viewers can't see. So
I mean, like, I thought you was going over future tracks since I couldn't see it, you know. I thought you was just doing it, but it's okay. It's all good.
And our ghostly friend CJ still talks about it from the void. But no, I get you. You're all good. All right. So, well, now you know that. Moving on forward, we duel this. We duel this together. All right.
Got you.
I got you. All right. Cool. So let's wrap up this episode. If you want us to if you want us to talk about something else, weather-wise, besides just CJ's TikTok, we do other things. We do Met Chats, meaning we talk to all 4 meteorologists, not just me and CJ. Me, CJ, Austin, and Matt. We'll be on a Met Chat later on this work week. That'll air most likely on Thursday, actually, this week, not Wednesday. We'll get to tomorrow's episode in just a second. You can send us a topic about anything you want us to discuss here on the KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown. Send us a topic, anything we can talk about, weather-wise. How does lightning form? How much did we flood here over this past event, so to speak? How much rain did we get?
Anything.
A recap of the tropics. Anything weather-wise. What's the whole thing behind Groundhog's Day for the weather, and how does that work? Literally anything and everything is what we're trying to get at. Send it to us. Send it the topic to us. That is at weatherbreakdown@ksla.com. You can message us on Facebook as well. Anybody at the KSLA First Alert Weather Team. Join us weekdays streaming at 10:30. That is any single weekday, not just Tuesday. It includes Monday. Includes obviously Tuesday today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. For tomorrow's episode, we're gonna be going over the tropics a little more in depth. Man, I hope I think we went over tropics the last 2 weeks ago. And I was hoping that was the last hurrah. Because usually November is like a dud. It's like June in tropical season. Nobody thinks about tropics in June.
Right.
No, so to speak. We just kind of hype up at the beginning like, yeah, tropic season started, and yet there's still nothing happening. But November, there's still one system coming into the Gulf of Mexico. We'll get the very latest on that system. Rafael's going to have another day to see if it forms, and it looks like it's strengthening, again, into a Cat 1 hurricane within the next 24 hours potentially. So we'll see about that. We'll see about models, where it's going, that kind of thing. We'll plan that out. Moving on into tomorrow's episode, we're going to go all over Rafael. And then hopefully, after Rafael, I think we're done. Hopefully we're done. I know tropical season goes all the way until the end of November.
Yes, November 30th is the last day of the official hurricane season, but storms are actually possible just after it. So
I've heard about a storm in December too.
Yes, there has been a storm in December, but it's pretty rare. That's why the cutoff is November 30th of the official tropical hurricane season. But sadly, storms are possible afterwards. But it does not mean that storms will be happening afterwards. They're just still possible, just at a lower end of the scale.
We're talking about highs in the 60s here, and yet we're still talking about tropics like we're in the middle of summer with 100 degrees.
This is because those sea surface temperatures will not cool down in the Caribbean. Last time I looked, they were like 87 over there. That's what the Gulf was looking like back in August.
Yeah, and they're cooler in the Gulf of Mexico, thankfully. It's not the hot tub of Mexico that I always call it anymore.
The hot tub of Mexico.
It's enough to sustain almost a hurricane, which is supposed to form up to because of how hot the Caribbean is. But then once it moves into the Gulf, cooler waters await it. Also, the cold fronts and just the environment it's going to move into in the upper air, not friendly to hurricanes. I talked about this with a coworker actually earlier this morning. They were like, well, why is this one weakening into the Gulf of Mexico? That usually never happens. You know, we usually don't even talk about that heading into the Gulf of Mexico. Think storms weakening. Well, it's weakening because all of these cold fronts keep sweeping on through Louisiana. We have another one coming again on Saturday. All these cold fronts are not friendly to hurricanes. Hurricanes need a calm environment. They need calm environment to swirl around in so they can fully control the atmosphere around them. They don't want to be pushed by anything. That's the key thing. They don't want to be pushed by any other major force like a cold front or a warm front or any other major weather system. They don't want any of that around that because that helps to destroy them, so to speak.
Messes up their structure. Exactly.
Yep, you got that right. All right. I think I've talked about everything. So yeah, tomorrow's Tropics, 10:30, right back here, KSLA News 12. All right, first alert weather day, probably for the next hour or so again. So still bring out that umbrella if especially if it's raining around your area, but you're not gonna need it for that much longer. Look forward to sunshine in for the afternoon. Yeah, Election Day, pretty cool. Thankfully, most of the severe weather is over with because KSLA News 12, we've got your Election Day coverage all afternoon and evening long. I believe it starts at 4 and goes all the way until 10. I know everybody. It's a quiet newsroom, just so you know here, because everybody else is coming in at like 2 o'clock to ramp themselves up for the rest of the night. Mm-hmm. I will probably be walking in my morning shift, and there will probably be still people around from the Election Day hype tomorrow. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here at KSLA News 12, first alert weather breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we'll be back on tomorrow at 10:30. Thank you much to CJ, again, for coming on for another week.
Of course.
Another presentation of your TikTok. And, yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your week, too, CJ.
I appreciate that. I hope you have a great rest of your week as well, Evan. Same to you, everybody that's listening.
Cool. See you tomorrow, 10:30. Be there, be square. We'll be back on the talk here. Peace out. Bye.